So I think we might also use this as a training. So Lauren, thanks for setting this up. Cool, been doing it 5 years. Awesome. So yeah, we'll use this probably as a training as well. I'm just gonna brain dump on content, how I think about it, different frameworks to think through, so you guys can just get into imperfect sloppy action to create content, to drive traffic, and also nurture your audience to want to buy from you and all of that stuff. So does that sound good to you guys? Just kind of do all that. Also, we have Lauren here. She is our client success coach inside of Masters of Fate and the Sisterhood and Masters of Business. She is incredible. She's built multiple six-figure coaching company, incredible with offer creation, content, and all that good stuff. So, without further ado, David. Oh, sweet, we got David here too. Cool. This is like half clients, half team. Okay. So let's get into it. So we're talking about content today, but it really all starts with the offers, boom. And how we want to think about offers is first, especially in the coaching space, start with your story. If you're lost on what offer you should create, just tell your own story to yourself over and over and over and over and figure out the things that you've overcome, the things that you've achieved, all of that stuff. So what I love to use is, if you guys don't use this tool, otter.ai, it is awesome. It's on your phone, it's on desktop, and it will transcribe everything that you're saying. So in terms of making really simple content, coming up with content ideas, sometimes we just need to capture it. So you can just turn Otter on your phone, go for a walk and just talk into it, your own story, and you can look at it and see how the data points line up. So you guys can hop on your phone right now, and if you don't have Otter on your phone, get it. It's free and it's fucking awesome, and will help you create content super fast. So with offers, start with your own stories, see how the data points line up. With offer messaging as well, we want to make it specific. So what we call is the 5 Ps. So person, problem, promise, path, and packaging. If these are not specific, it makes it so much harder to sell. So I'll give you an example. Person, I'll give you an old example. So through my own journey, when I was starting out in 2017, I had just lost 20 pounds and just quit drinking, and I had just started my agency. So I started with agency services, and I would go door to door and like restaurants, chiropractors, gym owners, and I would go in there and offer my services for free. And I got a bunch of testimonials that way. And the first start with an offer is get people saying awesome things about you or your stuff. Rack up a crap ton of testimonials. And then I had those testimonials that I could share with agency owners, with small local businesses of, hey, I can generate leads and get more people in your door. And then my first client was a $1,000 client that actually came through a referral, where he wrote me a $1,000 check, and that's how I got started with that. So that was my very first business, agency. And then I went into coaching. I built that agency up to, I was bouncing between 12K and 15K per month over the course of, like, after I got my first client, it took about 8 months to do that. And then I hired a coach for $10,000 to teach me how to grow a Facebook group. And that's where I started my audience, was from my personal profile in my Facebook group. So what could I teach? I could teach other agency owners how to scale their business past 6 figures and get their first few clients. So my first program was Stupid Simple Client Acquisition, helping agency owners getting their first 1 to 2 clients, right? It was a part of my story. It's something that I did. And I had kind of a crappy process for it. And I was not the best at sales. I was not the best at marketing, but we only need to be one level above somebody to get them a result. And that's just one mindset thing to hold in. Like, what we're able to provide when we're at like a lower level is that we can give our time. Like if I'm hiring Alex Armozy, then it's going to cost $100,000 or $1,000,000, whatever it is, right, for a specific part of his time. But what we can give away is one-on-one mentorship at the beginning and give away our time and give the accountability that that person needs to get the result, right? So that was a little bit of a tangent, but start with stupid, simple client acquisition, started to grow my Facebook group. I've continually invested in myself, over $500,000 worth in coaches. I got my bank account up to $65,000, and then I invested that $65,000 into Alex Moscow, which I went to as an event, Congruent Coach Live, to launch my own event and to sell en masse. And we ended up doing $1.1 million at Tribe Buyers Live in 2019, so it paid off. The thing that I forget who I learned it from, but the distance between where we're at and where we want to go is just a matter of building skill sets. And I didn't have enough skill sets to be worthy of charging the prices that I was charging. So I wanted to accelerate my growth in coaching programs, masterminds, mentorships, that sort of stuff. And I just continually invested into myself, and that was the success to the growth. Not just that, but the people that I met inside of those programs, because we can't read the label inside the bottle. We need people around us at a higher level and read our label and be like, dude, you're doing that wrong, or woman, probably not woman, but lady, you're doing that wrong, you know? So just a little tangent there. In getting into the specifics, the 5 Ps, I'll go into my old group growth and monetization blueprint offer to show you guys how this works. So specific person was a coach under coach just starting out. Boom, online coach just starting out. Problems, no audience, no offer or bad offer, and and bad sales skills, right? And what this online coach wanted to do was to have an audience and launch their first offer. So our main core promise was grow your Facebook group audience past 1,000 members and launch and do a 10K launch for your beta offer in 90 days. So then it made it really simple to understand what result that they were going to get out of being part of the group growth and monetization blueprint. Grow your Facebook group audience past 1,000 members and do a 10K launch for your beta offer in 90 days. So then they have the audience, they have the offer, and obviously they're developing sales skills, right? If they're doing that. Is this making sense so far? You guys getting this? Cool. So the path was personal profile growth, traffic, boom, content creation, Facebook group growth, launch, sales skills. It was something like that, but then they can see a logical pathway between their problems to the promise, right? Like first, we're going to grow your personal profile and generate traffic organically. Then we're going to give you our blueprint around creating content, and then growing your Facebook group from there. From there, we're going to launch your offer. It's more like offer launch, and develop the sales skills so you can actually sell that offer. Cool. So with the path, we want to take them through a logical pathway of, oh, that's how I'm getting from the problems I currently have to the promise, ultimately where they want to go, right? Problem, you could say current situation, and then here You can say desired situation, right? And cool. And then packaging, how is it delivered? So back in Group Growth and Monetization Blueprint, when I first launched in 2018, it's not what the coaching industry is today now. Or if we go back to 2016, where you could just put up a webinar and sell a course and it just sold on autopilot, it's constantly evolving, right? So what we're doing now is one-on-one Slack channels with our clients. We also have Skool with community and course. And we also have one in-person event every 6 months. And we have a dedicated one-on-one accountability coach, right? And there's more to this, but thinking of what the packaging for the offer actually is and what people need to get a result. To get a result is 3 things. And it's called the SAM model. And I learned this from Frank Bria. I joined a $100,000 mastermind where the back-end delivery kind of fucking sucked in 2018, but I had a good accountability coach. His name was Frank Bria, and he taught me this. And sometimes we just need one golden nugget from a program that kind of just changes everything. And this was it for me in here. So the SAM model is people need skills, accountability, and mentorship to get a result, right? So skills usually come through videos, SOPs, Google Documents, right? Accountability usually comes from SMS support or text support, group calls, a check-in cadence with your clients, that sort of stuff. Mentorship, if you're not doing it in the coaching space, you need an onboarding or a roadmap call. We do that with every single client as soon as they join to customize the program to them. Plus, when you have this and you're saying this is custom to you, it makes your offers so much more sellable. So we build out a custom roadmap for each of our clients to hit their goals and that sort of stuff. So custom roadmap as soon as they join. And regular one-on-one mentorship calls. So we have an offer intensive with Lauren here, then we have a money intensive, and then a scale intensive, and that sort of stuff. So all along the pathway, they're getting one-on-one custom support. So also what we do is laser coaching with me. Every single week I have a call with Brotherhood, Sisterhood, Masters of Business. They hop on a call. I bring up a Google document like this, and then I ask them, what's the number one thing that you're working on? And for about 5 minutes each, I go deep into mentoring them on that number one problem or that number one pain point that we can help solve on that call. So that's another example. Cool. Is this making sense? Yeah? Following? Cool. If you guys can pop in the chat what you're taking away so far from the offer portion, because that's kind of where it all starts with our content. Because if our offer sucks, it's just not going to sell. Our content's going to suck, right? So I want to get this across. Cool. Cool. And pop those into the chat, and then I'll go into offer model. So what's been your number one takeaway so far? Cool. Laser coaching is great. Thanks, Rick. Rick's part of the Brotherhood. Awesome, dude. Love it. Cool. If you guys pop in the chat what you're taking away so far when you are listening to something and then you spit it back of what the number one thing is, it helps you retain it in your own mind, and it helps other people in the group be like, oh yeah, I forgot that was talked about, right? So helps with the learning all the way around, whether it's offers, SAM model, that sort of stuff. Cool. SAM model, repeating your story to yourself over and over again. Love it. Love the SAM model. Crisp insights. I love crisp. That's great. Cool. So last thing that I want to go into around offer is the offer model. We call this the maximization model. And what we start with is, it always starts with a beta program. And we recommend 3K to 10K in the coaching space. You fill up 8 to 12 spots. This is usually 3 to 4 months of delivery, right? And then you turn your beta program into a core group coaching program. And you should be able to get this above when you're doing 3 to 10K with this offer. We want to hit at least 80K per month with this offer, right? When you're above 80K per month, you can look at a back-end offer where you're charging anywhere between 20K to 50K for it, right? And that's what I did with Authority Accelerator back in the day. I got it up to, it was a $6,800 offer. I got it up to 80, little bit over 80K. And then we launched our back-end offer, which was a 30K mastermind for a year. And if you're launching a back-end mastermind, you do it at an in-person event. It's so much easier to sell in person. And I started with a 12-person event at an Airbnb for 2.5 days. And then I did a second one of those, and both of those we've made over $100,000 each time with 4 people joining. And then I launched in front of 200 people, and we did $1.1 million at Tribe Buyers Live in 2018 or 2019. So back-end offers, one thing to take away from this is sell it at events, right? You also have a community / course offer. The big thing right now is Skool. I don't recommend starting with this. I recommend starting high ticket because our audiences aren't big enough starting out. So we're limiting the profitability that we can actually have inside of our business if we start low ticket. So what we want to do is build this up to a point where we can run paid ads past 30K per month, build our audience, and then it makes it a hell of a lot easier to launch a MRR reoccurring low ticket or a course from there, right? Does that make sense? You guys with me? Cool. Other things too, and we have Nora on the call. Nora is one of my favorites. Don't tell anybody, Nora. She does human design readings, and what she was starting out with a small audience, didn't have an offer, and what we had her do were free human design readings, and she got testimonials from there. And then she posted up those testimonials, and then people in her audience were like, how do I get human design readings from you? And then she said it's $97. So that was her first offer to build up confidence in selling it, right? And you can sell $97 calls for like a diagnosis. You can sell sales calls, which is kind of cool. And then, you know, those people aren't tire kickers and will actually bring out their credit card, right? And then Nora ended up selling her first 3K offer a couple weeks ago for her first time. And that isn't possible without getting those kind of small, quick wins for people paying for a call for 97. Or what we also have the whole process on is paid master classes. So paid master classes, $47, $97. You limit the amount of spots to like 12, 15 people. You make over $1,000 on the front end, and then everything you make on the back end is just pure profit, right? So cool. I think I went over everything that I wanted to go through in offers. Is this helping? Is this making sense? Having good examples, sense for what's been seen. Path, awesome, love it. Cool, crisp, sweet. Okay, cool. So, where do I want to start? Okay, so let's get into content. Awesome. What I recommend, don't do the Alex Hormozy starting out. Short form videos will kill you starting out. if you can go viral in a short form video, like on TikTok or in Reels, like go ahead, do that. If you've got the process for that, perfect. I just see so many people looking to model Alex Hormozy and spending way too much time on creating short form content, and then they're only getting like 5 to 10 likes. And it's like, if you just put that into written content initially and really nail down your messaging and nail down your story, it would make it so much easier to create those short form content that would actually hit with your audience, right? So my first recommendation in content, don't do short form videos initially unless you have like a viral strategy to get more eyeballs on your stuff. What I recommend is starting out with written content, right? So here are the core things, core stories. One is your own origin story. So why are you doing what you're doing? What has led up to this point, right? Long form story content, and you can tell it over and over and over. Back in 2017, I had my coach tell me to write my origin story. I was scared shitless, and for 2 months, I didn't write it. And then I went to the gym, took a shit ton of pre-workout, and said I wasn't leaving this gym until I wrote my origin story. And then I ended up posting it up, and I got like 362 reactions or something like that. That's what got me into the momentum where I was like, holy shit, I can do this. And that's kind of a side story. Content is consumed in the same energy that it's created. And also, content's a lot like a fart. If you force it, it's going to be shit. So in terms of writing content, writing story content, I still go to the gym just to write content. I'll hit those hard weights, get into my body, get into my heart, and write a bunch of story content at the gym. So get into a good state when you're first writing this content and writing these stories. So origin stories, super important. Scary investment story. If you're a business coach and you don't have a business coach or never had a business coach, then we're out of alignment with who we truly are, right? And when we have a business coach and we make a scary investment, like I did back in 2017, 2018, then I had stories to do it over, like to tell my audience over and over and over. Hey, I'm investing into myself and it's scary as fuck, but I'm doing it for a better life, right? And then your audience is like, oh, Tim is investing into himself and it's scary for him, then they're more likely to invest into you, right? So scary investment story or stories, very important. Also mentorship / coach story. If you're a coach, if you're a mentor, tell stories about your own coaches and mentors and what you've learned from them, right? And then people are much more likely to buy into your services for coaching and mentorship because they see that it's a thing that you're doing. You're not out of alignment with it, right? So those are really good. Let's see. The other ones I want to go into. I mean, big things, client stories. So become a machine at telling client stories over and over and over and over. You get a testimonial, get into the rhythm of writing out a story around that testimonial. And that's what sells your programs, people seeing other people getting results. One of my mentors, Eli Wild, who's also in our Masters of Business program, he talks about the trust trinity. So people need to trust themselves, they need to trust you, and they need to trust the offer, right? So with client stories and testimonials, it rocks out the trust trinity. If you have a testimonial where somebody's saying like, I felt like I didn't have the time and then I just mustered up and went into it and I got it done, then people are going to trust themselves more if they don't feel like they don't have the time, or it's just like you're not making the time for what's most important, right? Then they trust your offer because they can see the results, and then they trust you more. So client stories, testimonials, super important, right? Get results and show results over and over and over and over, right? Cool. Is that making sense for the initial core stories to rock out to write, especially if you're in coaching. Yeah, cool. Cool. Let's see. Let's get a few more takeaways. Eli is awesome. Eli is my mentor right now in the sales academy. Yeah, I actually am helping him with that program, him and Eli Sanchez. So that's cool. Yeah, origin stories. Just rock them out over and over and over. Right on. NLP for sales. Awesome. Love the reminder to not start with short form videos, start with written instead. Yes, love it. Validating your written content, 100%. Cool. So this is going to be huge and new for some of you guys. There are two types of content, core types of content. There's value content, which creates raving fans. And then there's belief shifting content that creates buyers. You want both, right? So with this, you can think of a value YouTube video, whatever it is. You can think of it of, this YouTube video or, just providing value. This is what most people do over and over and over, and they create some raving fans. Then what creates buyers is belief shifting content. And I'll go into an example of that. So I just posted one the other day on my personal profile, and you can scroll my personal profile and see the other ones. This would be more of a value piece of content. Hey, do you want to see this training that I did? Like, that's super valuable. Click down below, right? This is belief shifting content, right? And this is what I love to make at the gym. It gets people to think in a different way. So here I'm shifting their beliefs around book calls, which is true. It's like you want to have high quality book calls and have a set sale, not a bunch of shitty calls on your calendar, right? I say 99% of business owners don't know this. There's a big difference between book calls and a set sale. Most business owners are going the route of just booking calls, and it's causing massive headaches and lost time. Let me explain. Not all calls are equal. If your show rate is below 80% and your close rate is below 40%, odds are you're just booking calls. This is what you need for setting the sale. If you don't have it, let's book in a call. And then we got a bunch of comments down here, right? So we want to have a good mix of value content, like creating the raving fans and people engaging and all of that stuff, and then belief shifting content causing them to buy. And most people don't know this, and now you know this, that you probably need to put a bigger focus on belief shifting content, right? And here's where people fail. Where people fail. One, not giving away the farm. They're terrified to give away the farm. And it's like, no, just do it. People aren't watching all of your content, all of your posts, all of that stuff. They're not. Like, give away the farm. It will build up trust and it will build up a shit ton of raving fans. Give away the farm. Give away the farm. I'll say it over and over. And then telling people what they should do instead of showing them. So, man, there's so many coaches in the space, especially that are just modeling Alex Hormozi and just taking things that they learned from Alex Hormozi and being like, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. And it pushes the audience away. And if they just implement it themselves and do that thing and then share the result of that thing, it's showing them instead of telling them, right? And showing them what they could do with your own stories, with your client stories, all of that, it brings in buyers and doesn't push away your audience. Does that make sense? You guys with me on that? Okay, cool. Sweet. All right. Uh, let's see. What else do we want to get into? Um, kind of audience growth. Boom. Easiest way for audience growth is partnerships. Run your own interview slash podcast series and get in front of other people's audiences. This was the easiest way that I grew my audience initially. I had a Facebook group. I did 2 interviews in my Facebook group per week. I would get my audience a lot of value. And then I would ask at the end of the interview, like, yo, I've got this, this, and this. Do you think your audience would benefit from talking about one of these things? And then I would get in front of their audience and then move more people to my Facebook group. By far, easiest way organically, right? Yeah, that's where I'll leave it. But David, do you have a question?
Yeah, it was just clarifying the show them, tell them versus what they should do versus show them. What they should do is just preaching again. What they should do, showing them is an example by story, really more than anything, yourself or
Exactly.
clients. Okay,
Exactly.
just want to
Yeah.
clarify. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. And there are nuances to this. So with this post, I'm more telling them, but I'm also showing them with, hey, this is what we have set up inside of our company, right? Um, Showing them, Dano just did 38,000 or $39,000 without sales calls from our workshop system, right? Showing them. This is more telling them, but it is more of a belief shifting post inside of here. If you don't have people, processes, and systems, you don't have a job. You don't have a business. You have a job. Like boom, hits them in the gut. Oh, entrepreneurs don't want to have a job, and it's like, oh fuck, I don't have systems, people, or processes. So there are nuances to this, but if I did this over and over and over, it would push my audience away like no other. But I do want to shift that belief in my audience, right? Does that make sense? Cool. Awesome. Good questions. And I see show them 100%. And then there was a message from Chris. Did you have a message that you put down there? I'm missing it now. Cool. Okay. So easiest way to grow the audience. If you don't have a podcast or interview series, get one up. Like you have leverage. Boom. For marketing purposes, you have your network and your audience. For the rest of your life, if you just consciously focus on always growing your network and always growing your audience, you will never be poor. It's impossible to be poor. You have audience with attention, and then you have network for new ideas and also getting in front of their audience to build your audience, that sort of stuff. If you just focus on these 2 things for the rest of your life, you'll never be poor, right? I didn't know that when I was first starting my Facebook group in 2018. And then I started to grow it, and I was like, holy shit, people are actually listening to me. I was owning their attention. And then I put up my first launch post and made $64,000 in 24 hours without having to drive to a dentist or a chiropractor. I'm like, holy shit, internet money, this is crazy. So now I look at my email list, my YouTube list, my Facebook group, my paid ads as an asset for my business that I will grow for the rest of my life, right? Instead of just thinking, oh, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. No, it's an asset for my business and for my life that I'll grow for the rest of my life. And that's why I joined so many coaching programs and masterminds too, to be around higher level people, new ideas, and grow my network, right? Does that make sense? You guys with me on that? Cool. Sweet. Cool. Yep. Putting the interview series. on podcast platforms necessary or sufficient, go with YouTube. Everything is always imperfect, 1, 2-step formula to create anything in your life. 1, first step. Just like this is perfect because it's not formatting correctly. First step to creating anything in your life: imperfect, sloppy action, and expect to feel stupid. That's 1. First step, if you want something, you take sloppy, imperfect action and expect to feel stupid at first. Then number 2, with the new data points over a 30 to 90 day period, start developing the system out of it. Step 1, commit 30 days. Say, I'm taking imperfect, sloppy action, expecting to feel stupid. And then 30, 90 days, build out the system around it. So with interviews and that sort of stuff, you need a Zoom link, you need a calendar invite, and then you just start interviewing people. And then you have content where you can strip the audio and put it on podcast platforms and put it on YouTube and that sort of stuff. And then you can create the system out of it from there. What I recommend first is just identifying the people that you want to interview, reach out to them, get it on your calendar, interview them, and then you can create the system around it, right? Does that make sense? Cool. Awesome. Like the idea of growing my network and audience for the rest of my life and never be poor. Sean, love it. Perfect. Cool. So I promise you guys YouTube. So 1, YouTube. Start imperfectly. Create 2 videos per week. Carve out 2 hours each week on your calendar to create these videos. And I just use Loom and I shoot it in 1 shot. And all I'm looking for in that Loom video, which is typically 5 to 25 minutes, is a good hook, retain attention. That's what I focus on in the videos, is how can I retain attention here, here, here when I'm shooting it, right? And then that's pretty much it, just those 2 things. The imperfect, sloppy way of creating a YouTube channel is just that. And what you do from here is the YouTube system. After you've done it sloppy at first, then you identify the content that's working best and follow that formula. And then you can hire a video editor. You can double down on SEO. You can double down on thumbnails and that sort of stuff. But the first thing is imperfectly posting like this. And then you identify the content that's working best, and then you double down on that content format. Just like Mr. Beast, if you go back 10 years ago, he was all over the place, different types of content, gaming, that sort of stuff. Then he found a content format on YouTube that worked for his audience, and then he keeps doing it over and over and over and over. It's not difficult, it's just starting, right? And just committing to it for the rest of your life, and then you're in that mindset of, this is my identity, this is what I do. And then you see the format that works the best, and then you double down on that. Does that make sense? You guys with me on that? Okay. The benefit of this too is you can use YouTube videos as assets for email, for prospecting, all of that stuff. And they're just and you can put them in Skool as well. YouTube is just freaking awesome. Like, we'll send out an email, hey, just created a video on how you can build your task management system in under 20 minutes. Here it is. Cool. Get people to the YouTube channel. Or in prospecting, oh, I'm really struggling with creating my offers. Oh, here's a YouTube video on creating your offers, right? Or in Skool, all of ours are YouTube videos. So people join our Skool, we're getting YouTube views, and we're warming people up, right? Does that make sense? You guys with me on that? Okay. Cool. All right. Lauren, I'll give you the floor. I went over a shit ton, but I'd love for you to hop in, and you're much better at short form content than I am, and I'm sure you have some things to share as well. So,
Well, thank you for that, Andrew. That was you went, as always, you over delivered and went deep on so many really, really important topics. And so I appreciate you sharing your insights with everyone, like from a, really strategy-based perspective in regards to content creation. I'm going to share a little bit about my journey with content to give you all a perspective on where you are at now and where it can go for you. So I graduated high school in 2004. And at that time, Facebook had just started to roll out. And for me, content creation was something I didn't grow up with. Yeah, we had MySpace, but we weren't like creating content like it is now for people who are younger. So it's something I had to learn in my adult years. And I just looked it up. Instagram stories came out when I was 20, in my late 20s. And I remember one of my younger friends looking at me and saying, you need to start posting your daily life on stories. And I was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? That's mortifying. I'm not doing that. Nobody wants to know what I'm up to every day. And she's like, yeah, Lauren, she's like, this is what we're all doing like over on other platforms. And now Instagram is rolling it out. Like, you got to start doing this. And I was like, no way. The first story that I ever posted was of a buffet, a really nice buffet that I was eating at. And I remember posting it and being like, I used the cake emojis because there's really good cake. And I remember being mortified to post the story. Next thing I know, I'm getting DMs. That looks so good. That looks so good. Yum, da, 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 da. And I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. People care about my daily life. Now, at that point, I had started to, put out content because I was in the event production industry, letting people know, but not to this next level that I had just discovered in regards to stories. And then from there, with my content creation journey, it has grown so much over the years. When Andrew introduced me, he had such a kind introduction saying like, Lauren's really great at content creation. And I hear that all the time. Your content's so great. Your videos, you're this, you're that. Well, remember, not that long ago, it was not that great. And you're welcome to scroll my profiles and see the journey that I've been on with creating content. Since I started my Instagram, my Facebook. My Facebook was first used for when I was bartending, and I would let my old man regulars know about my bar shifts so they could come in and see me. And I'm sharing this because you can look at people who are creating content now and you're like, he's so good, she's so good, they're so great. I'm all the way over here. Well, remember, we all started somewhere. And like Andrew was saying, it's just something that becomes a part of your identity and becomes a part of who you are. And in the comments, in the conversation that's happening, Nora said something that's really important. She was like, when does it feel not so stupid anymore? And I shot back to Nora, it becomes your new normal to be really comfortable with being uncomfortable. So with that, even someone for me who I get brand deals, I have done a lot with content creation. I have people DMing me, hey, we're having an event coming up. We'll pay you $5,000 to come we'll fly you out to Miami, Florida, pay you $5,000 to speak on our stage, all because of content. But I want to go back to the being really comfortable with being uncomfortable. Even though I've had all this practice all these years, there's still times where I get uncomfortable. And I want you guys to all know that I'm just really comfortable with being uncomfortable. There's still times where personal stuff comes up where I'm maybe I'm not feeling as confident or good that day, or something happened. And I'm like, oh, do I post this? Do I not post it? I still go through that. But then I'm like, no, you have a story to tell. You have something interesting to say. People value this because it is of value what you're putting out there. Post it. So all of those things that come up with content creation, you're not alone. Even the greatest people out there who've been creating content for years that you're looking at with over 1 million followers, things still come up for them. And again, I'm sharing this because we can always look at other people and compare ourselves to them. And I love what Andrew said about like imperfect action. It's just about putting content out there. He also said something that's really, really important. Once you find what works for you, double down on that. Get really good at that form of content creation. I've had a lot of success on my TikTok account, especially in 2021, 2022. I was in a niche industry talking about a certain topic. And I really learned how to create videos that would go off and get a lot of attention. And then follower wise, I would get like people who would actually follow me and stay with me on my journey. And so once you figure out these formulas that work for you with your growth with content creation where you are, once you find something that works, repeat that process. We just had one of our sisters make a video on TikTok that started to go off. So she hit me up, Lauren, she's like, I feel fear, it's going off. And I was like, all right, I got you. Let's go into how we can leverage this. And then one of the things I said to her is, we saw what just worked. We can take that and put a new spin on that video, maybe reframe what you said at the beginning, take out some key points from that first video and make another one similar to that. So you'll start to see what starts to pick up with what you're putting out there. And once you see that, recreate it in another way.
100%. Yeah, and you only need one post or one video to pop off to figure out what the formula is from there, and then you can recreate it over and over and over and over. I think you're talking about Arlie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Her formula, she just got pissed off about something and posted about it, so she can just do that about other things and then weave her business into there as well. So it's pretty cool.
And
Yeah.
with what you just said, Andrew, is people like to be in the know and they like to engage with things that are happening that are relevant now. So if there's anything that's happening, I don't know, if you're into sports and there's something happening with sports in your world, post about that. Like if there's a game last night, post about it and give your takeaway from it. And maybe see how you can like weave it back into your business. Or if there, I don't know, if you're into like Hollywood stuff and there was like the red carpet, let's say you're a mindset coach, you could talk about, you know, as I saw blah, 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 walking on the red carpet last night, I thought about what it must take mindset wise for her to come onto the red carpet in that dress. Here's three mindset tips for you. If you're blah, 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 you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's like a relevant piece of content. People just watched that last night and they're like, oh, the Emmys, the whatever. Now
Mhm.
I'm going to consume it because it's relevant. So again, people like to be in the know and talking about things that are happening now.
That's a perfect point. The way that you can think about that too is trend hacking or social hacking. So if it's red carpet is going on right now, you can borrow that trend, create content around it, and hack the attention around that. Looking at TikTok, Reels, that sort of stuff, you can hack that algorithm through that trend. Or if you look at on YouTube, oh, I'm trying to remember his name. There's a big YouTuber, about 15 million followers, but what he did to grow his YouTube channel to 15 million subscribers over 2 years was social hacking Mr. Beast, social hacking other big YouTubers by creating videos with their names in the title, right? So you can hack there. And one of my biggest YouTube videos is hacking Alex Hormozy and mixing it with AI content, right? So I take a trend, AI, and Alex Hormozy, and then I'm hacking that the algorithm there, right? Cool. Anthony, identifying trends and do type of research. With
Great.
that, yeah, Lauren can answer that, and then I'm going to show you guys the content system that makes content creation so much easier. So I'll show you that, but Lauren, you had something?
Great question, Anthony. So one of the things that you can do to see like what's relevant, what's happening right now, super simple. Just go to Google, type in your industry or something going on, go to news, and then you're going to filter it from the last 24 hours to last 7 days. And you're going to see all of the articles that populate from the publications that have come out. pertaining to your industry. So if Forbes just released an article about something that, you know, is in your industry, you can take that article and then you can give your hot takes on the article.
100%. So good. So real quick, the content system, you guys know I freaking love Airtable. It is awesome, better than Monday, Asana, ClickUp, all of them. I've used all those. It is not a project management tool. It is like putty. You can create any system you want out of it. First 2 weeks of learning it sucks, but then you have a tool in your back pocket that you can use over and over and over to build out any system that you want. With native automations, Slack, Google Calendar, and then connecting it with Make or Zapier. It's one centralized system, what I've created for my life, for my finances, for my business. And what we're going to jump into here is a really cool tool between the content system and inside of Airtable, and then the Airtable web clipper, which everybody in the Brotherhood, Masters of Business, all of our programs get. So it's pretty cool. First thing that you want to do is identify people's content that you want to model. Then you set up, well, first you set up the Airtable web clipper to your content board, and then you just go on a weekly basis, monthly basis into that content that you want to model, and you're one click away from adding it to your content, right? So for example, Taki Moore is one of my good friends and also was my mentor back in the day, and he writes really good content. This one I can see popped off. Want my copy guide to qualify prospects and earn their trust in less than 10 minutes or less, it's fire. That is awesome. So what I'm going to do with this content system is just click the Airtable web clipper at the top, boom, right there. And then I'm going to go into the content and I'm going to name this piece of content. So prospect guide. I'm going to post this copy in there, boom. And then I could add in other things like status or content type, which this would be a short bait post. Call to action, yes, there's a call to action for this, and this for me, and we're gonna upload it to personal profile and to Skool. Boom, hit add record, and then I could go through the rest of his content and go to another person's and just pull content. This will speed up your content creation by at least 300%, if not more. And then you can see inside of the business OS, inside of here, it's underneath content, boom, right here, and it's been automatically added to our content board right here. So then I can just do a scrub, kind of like you were talking about, Anthony, that research, and just add content in here super fast, and then content creation becomes a hell of a lot easier. I can put a post time to it, status, and then I can create content for the next year right up in here. Cool. Sweet. Awesome. Cool. Amy, love the head blown. That's perfect. Cool. So from here, guys, boom, we have a lot of clients on here, which I love. For people who are not clients right now, we have two options. Option number one, you can just take what we've given here and do that. Option number two, do nothing. Option number two, book in a content session with my right-hand man, Nathan. And it doesn't need to be content. He can literally go into anything, whether that's offer creation or if that's Airtable systems, he can show you more of that. Or if you want to go deeper on your fulfillment for your offer, anything like that, we have that option. He'll jam out with you, get to know you, help you out with something specific in your business. And then if it sounds good and you want to entertain Masters of Faith, Brotherhood, using our systems, our methodologies, all of that, he can get you on a call with you and me. So it's pretty good. There's no risk to booking the call. The only risk you do have is doing nothing. And that's how I close most of my presentations. So if you want to do that, I'll drop it in the chat right here. I believe it's Nathan 15. Boom. So we got his link down there. And just to recap with you guys, which I should have done first, what we went over on today's call was big things around offers, Most people struggle here with offer. Like once you get it nailed down, then it's so much easier to grow your business. That's the first thing that we focus on is simplifying your offers in the first 14 days in any of our programs. I just got on a call with David the other day and literally went into his Google document, helped him refine his offer. So it's pretty cool. And then we went into the SAM model, skills, accountability, mentorship. We talked the pathway of launching different offers. We talked about content, the different types of story content to create. Just remembering more belief shifting posts, and that's what creates buyers. And where people typically fail, how to grow your audience initially organically, just partnerships, getting that started, and the formula to create anything out of your life. So imperfect, sloppy action, then create the system out of it. And we talked a little bit about YouTube, and yeah, it was pretty cool. So you got that link down below. Booking that call, go over any of this with Nathan. And then I will send this document over too for all of you guys in the chat. And we have 1 minute left. So does anybody have one question that they want to go into? Who wants to be selfish and take one question? Sometimes being selfish is a good thing. Luke, Sean, Rick, Amy, Christopher?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Anthony?
Yeah, question regarding the so you said with the reels that it actually can kill your progress if you don't have like a viral strategy to go over doing that. And instead go over written content. Now, what do we usually use for that? For like the written type of content? Is it through Skool now or do more just go back on Facebook or
Yeah,
yeah.
so written content, what I like to do is start with my personal profile on Facebook, because usually we have a little bit of an audience there. I don't know if Drew is here, but we used to connect back in college. We were drinking buddies, and then he ended up joining my program. I didn't delete anybody off my personal profile, so don't delete anybody. And what I still do today is I will write my written content on my personal profile first. If it hits and does well, then I'll put it into my email and then I'll put it into my Skool group. Basically, Facebook is like my testing ground and that sort of stuff. And then you can do Facebook Lives and those podcast partnership interviews to grow your network on your personal profile. And then you can strip that video and put it up on YouTube too. So it works like a whole ecosystem, really simply. But yeah, I usually recommend Facebook for written content, or Instagram as well. And that will help us nail down our stories. So then we can inject the really powerful stories into short form content for when we're ready for that, right?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So using it as a testing ground to be able to grow from
Yeah. Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. Yeah. Cool.
Appreciate it.
Love it, Anthony. Did you book a call with Nathan?
Not yet.
I think that would
No.
be super valuable for you. Would love to connect, man. And I sent over the Google document over to you guys in the chat, so you can grab that. And Sean, Christopher, Rick, Luke. Actually, let's end with some number one takeaways in the chat before we hop off here. Out of everything that we talked about here, what is one thing that you took away and that you're going to put into action, whether around your offer, your delivery, your stories, your audience growth, YouTube, anything like that?
Yeah,
It is-
I've heard it before about giving away the farm, and you always feel weird about doing it, but I'm doing it. I'm giving away the farm. I'm giving away the farm every single time. Seriously, I wrote it on a sticky note. I'm gonna put it all over the place in here. Give away the farm.
Yes, dude, that will create the raving fans. And it allows us to be more abundant too and attract that abundance into our life. And it forces us to level up. Oh shit, I'm giving all this away. I got to do better, create more. So I love that, man. Cool. Rick, audience growth using Airtable Web Clipper. It's awesome. Belief shifting content. Have to try it. Perfect. Focus on YouTube. Give away the farm. Leverage Facebook for testing. Perfect. Delivery and written content. Belief shifting posts. 100%. Sweet. Awesome. Great. Great call, guys. We'll have the recording up soon. And Lauren, thank you so much for your insights and getting people to drive that imperfect action. This is awesome. Sweet. Thank you so much, guys. I'll talk to you soon.